Hey guys, it's Rod from Rotolight, and I'm really delighted to announce the brand new Rotolight iOS and Android app is finally here. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through a quick how to get this set up guide, and also take you through the brand new firmware 2.0 you're going to need to install to get this app working, and some really cool new things inside that update. So the first thing to do is head on over to rotolight.com/support to download the new firmware 2.0 for your NEO 3 and AEOS 2. Download the file onto a USB 2.0 stick with no other files contained on it. Turn the power off on your light, insert the USB stick, holding both buttons, power the light back on, and it will prompt you to update the light. Firmware 2.0 contains several really cool new features, including compatibility with the brand new Rotolight iOS and Android app, and it adds a brand new Wi-Fi control option in order to connect the app to the top of the system menu. More to follow on that later. A brand new green magenta control has been added inside the CCT menu. When you tap the box that currently says Kelvin, it reveals a brand new green magenta slider that allows you to correct for camera sensor types and personal preferences in order to achieve your desired skin tone and effect. Personally, I like a slight touch of magenta, around 10 or 15% shift, and it's similar to the same tint control that you'll find inside Photoshop or Lightroom. That's a really cool feature. The 2.0 update also includes some enhancements to the realism of certain of the SFX, including fade, lightning, and paparazzi. Inside the gels menu, we've added a popular user request with a drop-down arrow allowing you now to access and save your favorite gels as presets to be recalled for later use at a moment's notice. We've also improved some of the ergonomics in the flash page so that it's now easier to access those controls. All of the functions on the left-hand side of the page are now accessible by the left-hand knob, and similarly on the right-hand side of the page by the right-hand knob. The middle functions can be accessed from either knob. So that's what's new in firmware 2.0. Now let's take you through a how-to guide on how to connect to the brand new Rotolight app. So step 1. Press the home button on the light and go to the page that says settings, bottom right. You'll now see a brand new control menu. Click on the arrow and you'll notice that the light by default is in local control. You want to press the box that says app control. By doing so, that will now enable Wi-Fi in the light. And you'll see a pop-up dialog box saying Wi-Fi initializing. This is equivalent to your home router restarting at home, which could take up to 15 to 20 seconds for Wi-Fi to kick in and be ready for use. Once it's ready, you'll see a notification on the screen that says Wi-Fi ready. When that happens, you can then click onto the app control box and it will reveal a QR code to you for scan inside the app. Step 2. Download the Rotolight app from the iOS or Android store and ensure it's updated to the latest version. Once you've done so, open the app. You notice that within the app there is a plus icon in a red box. That allows you to add a fixture. Press the plus button. This will now bring up a camera window, and inside the Rotolight, once you've pressed the app control box in the system menu, you'll be displayed a QR code. Place the camera over the QR code and it will recognize the QR code and ask you to join the light. Press the button that says join. It will now take around 10 or 15 seconds to establish a connection to the light, and it may prompt you one more time at the end of that to press the button join when it's ready to connect. I'm now connected to my light. If I press the CCT window on my light, I can now instantly control this from the app. If for any reason you're struggling to scan the QR code, then an alternative connection method is to enter the product's serial number in the box that says SSID. Beneath that, you also have a password box which is the same number, the serial number of the product. Do be aware that it's case sensitive. You'll notice that within the app, we've replicated the identical same touchscreen directly inside, so it's extremely intuitive and easy to control. For example, if I want to control CCT, I go into the CCT page, and what you'll notice is that there is a real-time two-way connection between the light and the phone, such that if I adjust the screen on the back of the light, it's instantly adjusting my app, and vice versa. In HSI, I have access to all of the colors, and in the gels page, I similarly have all the gels available. I can click on a digital replication of the knob to spin around available colors. And in the app, one really cool feature is that if I click on the button that says source match, I can actually search for filter numbers if I happen to know which filter that I like or I'm looking for. And at the top where it says D32, that means a tungsten emulation of that filter, or D65 means a daylight emulation of that filter. Another new feature that's unique to the app is the color wheel. You'll notice that on the right hand side, the color option here, I can now use my finger to drag around and find an exact replica of a color and saturation that I like. And once I've found one that I like, I can then long press and hold into one of the boxes and it will save that color as a preset for me. If you've got multiple lights in your setup, then you simply replicate the same process using the plus icon to add your additional lights there. And then when you want to connect the desired light you want to talk to, simply tap the light and it will establish that connection. Within the app, you've also got a button at the bottom here that says Setup. Once you've chosen your selected light, you can press the Setup button, and that will allow you to name the light, for example, key light, backlight, or fill light, so you know exactly what each light is doing within your setup. Initially, the app is using a connection that we call multi-one-to-one, whereby I can have up to 20 lights addressable, and you simply click the light that you want to talk to at any one time. As an update in Q4, we'll be adding functionality for groups and support of multiple lights within the same group, and we'll also be adding backwards compatibility for older generation NEO 2s, AEOS 1s, and even Titans, even though they don't actually contain a Wi-Fi Bluetooth module. Let's talk through some troubleshooting tips if you're experiencing any connection issues. Number 1, please make sure that you've downloaded the latest firmware from your Rotolight AEOS 2 or NEO 3. This will only work with the latest firmware 2.0 or later. Head on over to rotolight.com/support. To double check the version number of firmware you're running on the light, you can go to the system page and scroll down to the page that says About. That will then display at the bottom the current firmware number on your light. Tip number 2, ensure you have the absolute latest iOS and Android app from Rotolight installed on your device. Tip number 3, ensure Wi-Fi is actually enabled in your Rotolight device. Bear in mind that the first time you use a Rotolight, the default position for the Wi-Fi is off. To enable Wi-Fi, simply go into the system page of your light, scroll to the top where it says Control, and you'll know Wi-Fi is enabled if the box that says Wi-Fi App Control is highlighted blue. If it isn't, press the Wi-Fi App Control box and it will start the Wi-Fi initialization process. Do bear in mind that, like your home router, it can take up to 15 to 20 seconds for the Wi-Fi to fully initialize before you'll be able to establish a connection with your light. So give the light time to do that before you try to turn the app on. Tip number 4. If you're still having connection issues with your app, then make sure you force quit the app. Instead of just coming out of the app, which actually leaves the app running, on iOS swipe up from the bottom and then swipe away the app you wish to get rid of, and that will force the app to re-establish a connection with your Rotolight. Once you reopen the app, tap the light you want to control and re-establish the connection. Tip number 5. If you're still having issues with your light, you can swipe to the left and it will give you a red dialog box to remove the feature. Press the X to remove the light that's causing a trouble and reconnect the light using the Add Fixture icon. Tip number 6, a really simple one, but cycle the power on and off of both your phone and your light. This is a particularly good thing to do once you've installed any new app or software on either. Tip number 7, make sure you're not using a VPN, a virtual private network. This can interfere with the connection between your Rotolight and your app. Tip number 8, you can only ever have one device connected per light at a time. If you wish to use a new phone or tablet to talk to your Rotolight, then hard quit the app on the current device, turn the power off on your Rotolight and back on, and then use the new device to connect to your Rotolight. And finally, if you're still having any problems, in the Rotolight itself, go to the system page, scroll down to the very bottom to the factory reset, press the button that says reset with the right knob, and then press yes to reset my light to factory settings. Once you've done so, you need to go back through the process in the system page to connect to app control and allow the Wi-Fi to initialize. Do remember, if you're enjoying the app, to please leave us feedback on the app page. And also, if you want any additional information, do head on over to rotolight.com/app.